You may have seen children, babies at play. There's those games where to teach them the shapes of things. They have those boxes like with different shapes and forms that are holes, and then they've got the little bricks with the same shape, and they've got to learn to put the right forms into the right holes. You could say in our life, man is very much like that in working his way through life. Let's see if this idea fits into the reality of things, and he learns by experience of, no, that doesn't fit, so we'll try another one. Then there are those people who are like determined, doggedly, to make their own ideas fit into reality, and just kind of ram it home. And they kind of did, like it was as if a baby was trying to put it in and it doesn't fit. The circle doesn't fit into the star, and they've got it in their head. It's got to go in. It's got to go in. And they pick up an hammer and start hammering it in. And that's how people do stubbornly in life. You know, with the ideologies. That's what Henry VIII did with his "I'm the head of the church in my kingdom in England," hammered home his own idea of saying, I am the one who is the head of the church in England. I pick Henry VIII out. It's quite easy to point the finger at, but I mean, many of other people through the story of history. Stalin, his own ideology cost the lives of more than 30 million people. And even today, the ideologies that are going around, they're still trying to hammer them home, and that's costing millions of lives of unborn children in the wombs of the mother, and so on and so forth in different ways. Now we can point the finger at, why am I going on about this? Because, well, there's no greater blindness than those who don't want to be healed of their blindness, let's say. We're all partially blind, and we can have a better vision on life if we let ourselves be helped. As the partially blind man, if he just went to the eye doctor, to the optometrist, and he'd get a better pair of glasses, he'd see a lot clearer. But people persist on hammering home their own way and their own perception on life, as did the Sanhedrin. How stubborn and obstinate of them, after having slammed up the apostles and put them in the prison because of jealousy. That's what the gospel told us. And then the next day they convened to bring them out of the prison and to condemn them, and they found they weren't there. Mysteriously, miraculously, through God's intervention. And where did they find them? They were in the temple preaching the same message for which they were put in the slammer for, which was the same doctrine as what Jesus Christ was teaching and was crucified for. And these men, they weren't even able to humble themselves and say, well, God is with them and he's acting with them, and they still wanted to condemn them because it didn't fit to their own way of thinking. And they said to them, we gave you a formal warning not to preach in this name, and what have you done? You have filled Jerusalem with your teaching and seemed determined to fix the guilt of this man's death on us. But Peter said in reply, obedience to God comes before obedience to men. And that's what we have to do as well. We have to be faithful to God, even though the authorities try to hammer their own way of thinking home, which doesn't fit to the truth. And in the smaller scale of things, in our own personal life, we many a times are like that little baby who tries fitting the circle into the square, or the square into the triangle, and it doesn't fit. And we become obstinate, and we want to try to hammer home our own idea and our own way of thinking, and we're stubborn, we're petulant little children many a times, and it doesn't fit. our world breaks down and we start crying. My dad used to say, don't spit out the dummy. And that's what we do many times, like babies, they spit out the dummy if things don't go their way. Well, just to remember that, don't try and hammer home your own ideas and your own agenda on life if God is asking you something different. Let us not be so hard-hearted and stubborn, but rather docile and humble, being obedient to God. So we can ask for that spirit of humility, docility, and discernment in life, which will help us to configure our own lives, our own will, to what it is that God is asking of us to fit into his plan. Amen.